Francis with Rock and Ice, and this is Beard and Gear, and we've got Terry Cross here with Armaid. So, cheers.
Cheers.
Glad to have you, man.
Thanks for having me. What's not to like? This is, by the way, excellent stout.
Good, man.
What's the name of this joint?
This is a place called Batch.
Batch.
Yep.
If you're in town.
Local beer, you know, we love it, man. We
cheers.
love it.
Thank you.
All right, so we got Terry Cross here, and just so everyone knows, the Armaid is that thing that you see in all of pretty much most of the rock gyms out there, and it's for taking care of our forearms, right?
The old one.
Yep, this is the old one, so we'll talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
The original. And so I wanted to bring Terry on today because, right, climbers, like the main thing we deal with, or like at least for me, is like tendonitis in the arms and forearm soreness and all that stuff. And this thing was really made for climbers, and Terry's going to talk about that. So again, Terry is the inventor. Terry is an incredible opera singer. He actually sang "Happy Birthday" to one of our colleagues in the office. True story. He's very good. All right, so Terry, just so everyone knows,
I'm open for rentals. Call me. You know,
yeah.
I'm available. No.
So Terry's the real thing, right? He invented this thing, but he's got a background in sports massage injury therapy. So tell us really quick where you're coming from, and just you know.
I love solving problems, and I worked on either Olympic athletes or Olympic wannabe athletes or weekend warriors. People have problems because they use their muscles, whether it be their occupation, their sport, or activity. Muscles are the vehicle by which stuff happens, physically happens. And especially when you talk about the forearm fueling all finger grip, grab, grasp, and digitizing, whether it be on a computer or whatever you're doing, hands and arms are the vehicles by which we express ourselves, how we earn a living, how we climb efficiently.
Absolutely, man.
And so I wanted to help people do whatever their job or sport or whatever, to do it better without pain and without having to depend upon a physical therapist or a doctor with drugs, surgery, and the usual, poke around, let's see now, do some strengthening exercise. No, I don't want to denigrate anybody's efforts to get better.
That's right, yeah. Fair
But the bottom line is, and this is critical for climbers and anybody to understand about overuse, is that when muscles are used repeatedly, repetitive strain injury, RSI, it's called overuse also, injuries, muscles get tight, and when they get tight, they get short. When they get short, they start to pull on where they're attached at their tendons, either in and around the elbow or through the wrist into the hand. And the thumbs also. These muscles get tight from what? Say it with me, overuse.
Yeah, and as climbers, right, this is like, if I'm going on a road trip, if I'm climbing 5 days in a row, the thing that really holds me back are my forearms.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's really like the limiting factor for
how do you crimp? With your hands and forearms. How do you, jug even, it's like you friggin' gotta use what you got. Otherwise, you don't do it.
So tell us how climbers, why climbers should use this thing. But first, tell us you've got a second style. This is the second iteration. So the first one is the blue, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And this is the second one.
Okay.
This is the new one. Is this available now?
Let's go, before we get into the models, let's go back to your first question, which is, well, what am I supposed to be paying attention to? What's going on here? Let's keep it simple.
Great. Love it.
Tight muscles mean shortened muscles. Because how often do we ask somebody to massage our shoulders when after we've been doing labor or some activity? Anywhere in the body, muscles can get tight and then short and then start to pull on their joint attachments, which affects the balance between flexors and extensors. And if one side is more tight than another, it's like a tent pole with guide wires. If one guide wire is more tight, then it throws off the whole balance of the verticality of the pole. Same sort of analogy holds true, that both the flexors and extensors need to be in balance in order for your elbow joint, as well as your biceps and triceps, to be in balance. So the whole thrust of Armaid, whether it be the original or the newer model, is simply release the overstressed, tightened side, whichever flexors or extensors, or maybe both, release them so that you can train, so you can work out, so you can strengthen and expand upon your capability but only if you are relaxed and supple. And that's the key to Armaid, is that it makes tight muscles less tight.
Cool.
Another way to say it is range of motion, which is the vernacular that is the jargon that therapists use and doctors. They say, how's your range of motion? What is the range of motion of this patient? And if your range of motion is limited, that means you're too tight.
Yeah, good point.
Increasing range of motion is the whole point of using Armaid. And I just use a lot of words to describe it, but basically get back the muscle's natural range of motion, and then you have returning then your function, natural levels of strength and endurance are once again yours. Because why? Your muscles are loose. That's it.
Yep, interesting.
Okay.
No, it's good. Yeah, I mean, just for the record, I've had tendonitis in there probably for like at least 15 years, and constantly we talk about in the office, climbers have it all the time.
Yeah.
Whether you're talking,
sure.
What's the name for the outside tendon? What was that?
Tennis elbow or lateral epicondylitis.
And that's in the back there. Yep.
Golfer's elbow is medial epicondylitis.
Yep.
It's where either the flexors and or for especially the inside, you gotta pay attention to the triceps.
Yes.
And using Armaid, you can actually release it with this simple professional massage technique that is the core of using Armaid. Is not the device. This is the delivery tool. The thing that the therapy tool that makes the technique applied to yourself possible.
Gotcha. Yeah. And you said before, for the record, you're like, you don't need an Armaid to do this. You could go outside.
Oh, hell no.
If you're at the crag, you could get a rock.
If you're at the crag and you say, God dang, my forearm muscles are tweaked. Pick up a rock that's like 5, 6, 8 pounds that can fit into the palm of your hand, that you can then direct that pressure without having to push, because that sets up a lot of tension in the pushing. So just relax and guide that mass onto, there's a spot. And the technique that we talk about using Armaid, which is the very core of getting back range of motion, is 3 steps. Number 1, roll looking for...
Well, so let's bring it out. Let's show us how, because just for the record, I think a lot of climbers actually, they get this thing in the gym, and I see them going like this. They're rolling, and they're just using it as massage.
Right.
And that's...
Excuse me.
Yeah, and that's probably fine, right, to kind of loosen up and get some blood flow, but that's not actually how to use this puppy, right?
Exactly.
So, and that's why I think that's interesting.
Everybody and their mother, excuse me, moms, will just say, "Oh, I know how to use it. I don't need to watch the
You just kind of
the videos.
Through it. You just
kind of like, oh, this is massaging." No, that is the first step to getting relief. Is you roll looking for what's called trigger points. In other words, muscles. Okay. Let's use your arm as an example.
Let's use my arm as an example.
Okay. Now, as a therapist, you meet like there, right? Okay. So I have found a spot. Now you find it, put pressure on it. And by the way, my thumb represents the middle ball of any of the attachments. Place that, you find it, pressure, and now here's the key. The piece de resistance for all you French speakers out there is move your hand slowly.
Yeah, you can feel that.
Go ahead. Up, 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 up. Yes, slowly and deliberately. Now you want to give as much pressure on that spot, and you want to have full, slow range of motion in order to create what's called ooh face, like ooh, hurts good. So you want to, now.
So you're telling me I got to get in there.
Now do it, baby.
Find the spot.
Find a spot. Do it genuinely right now.
Okay. All right, got it.
You got it?
Yeah, I got the spot right there.
Now, pressure.
Okay.
Now,
so
movement.
That's the motion. Now, what is that doing?
Let me stop you. If you're not doing ooh face, you're not on it.
Okay, so I guess...
If you're not like focused and concentrated on what the hell you're doing, then just go watch TV reruns of,
all right, there
Gilligan's
it is.
Island.
All right, that hurts.
You got it?
Shit. Yeah.
Good. Because the ooh hurts good sensation is the means by which transformation is accomplished with range of motion. Range of motion. You want to get that back, and only because you're putting pressure on muscle fibers, and as you pressure and you work them by stretching the muscle, you're ooh, it doesn't hurt so much. Ooh, you're getting back range of motion.
The muscle fibers are loosening up and micro tearing in a sense.
You call them in therapy, you call them adhesions, relieving the adhesions, because muscles glide, right? Right? Ideally, and they have what's called full range of motion. I just sprayed you. I'm sorry.
No.
That's the beer. I apologize.
No, I was itching.
I had an itch.
You're good, sir.
Cute. Good cover. So, Range of motion when it's limited is like from here to here, for example.
Okay.
But when you get released and you put pressure and you stretch those muscles, you're actually out, and then you release that to the point of like, it doesn't hurt anymore because there's no more restrictions to release those connected.
Okay, so for the climbers that find that spot and it hurts, like how often do you need to talk to a therapist as to how long, how many times a day?
Just common sense. Initially follow this general guideline.
Yep.
2 to 3 minutes, 2 to 3 times a day.
2 to 3 minutes.
And don't hammer on some spot that said, oh, hell yeah, man, that feels so good. 20 minutes later, you're still, oh yeah. The next day, you're going to be, oh, so sorry.
Yeah.
Because it's like overdoing anything. It's just too much focus.
Okay.
And that's not, it took you possibly years to get that range of motion restriction.
Yeah.
You can't just do it in 1 or 2 sessions.
Got it.
You got to respect your physiology.
Got it.
And that takes at least a few days to get back. People start to feel, with this technique being applied by Armaid, you're starting to feel range of motion come back after the first session.
Is that right? Okay.
Oh yeah. If you're focused on this technique being done well, which is the whole point of Armaid, it's not selling and distributing the gear, it's the technique done well. And that's why if you grab a rock at the crag or in your backyard and you start to do this, you don't need to pay $79 for a...
But this sure as hell makes it easy, is what you're saying. I mean, clearly.
No question about it.
Yep.
But you could theoretically, and I've tried this, anybody know what a Foster's beer can is? Like 25
the big
ounces?
Ones.
Yeah,
the
big
22s
one.
or something?
22, whatever it is.
Yep.
Chill it in the chill it in the refrigerator, make it cold. You use the mass and the weight of the Foster's right on that and do the technique. And then drink the beer afterwards.
So, and you're always looking for the thing that hurts. Like if I'm in there and they're like, okay, I squeeze hard, nothing hurts. It's like, then I'm okay. But I'm looking for the place that's tight.
And frankly,
that's what's important.
Every person in this room, everywhere, if they use their arms and hands assiduously to perform their sport, their job, their task, their hobby, whatever, there is I'm so glad you brought latent tension that will arise when you overuse the muscle. Like you're going to clean out the garage, you got to pick up big boxes, or you're going to dig a trench for your new garden, or whatever the hell. You are now taking a sub-aware level of tension. Sub-aware about there's no pain. Oh, I'm fine. I don't feel any pain. I'm good. But you do like 2 hours of something that's physically applied, and you really focus on gripping, grabbing, holding, grasping, whatever, you're going to feel like, oh man, why is my elbow hurting? Well, it's because it was already tight.
Right.
And now it's been exacerbated to conscious pain. So here's the deal.
That's a good point, yep.
You don't know how tight your muscles are until you touch them. You ever had a massage where you didn't, like somebody touched you and you're like,
oh yeah,
ow man, what are you doing? I'm sorry, I'm just touching you.
Oh yeah.
But it was like you were unaware that there was actually something going on until somebody like, ooh.
Yeah.
Same thing for your arms. You have to do what's called maintenance.
That's what climbers. I mean, I think climbers are terrible about forearm maintenance in general. Like in general, most
We're
climbers
all terrible.
If they get hurt, they do push-ups on the elbow. Like, oh, I'll do push-ups, and then if like
ibuprofen.
Yeah, you take vitamin I, and then you do the frying pan.
Vitamin I, is that what it's called?
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, and then you do the frying pan thing.
It's so ubiquitous.
Okay, so this thing's obviously really easy. Like again, we have some at our gym. We love them. This thing's easy to adjust to get your hand in there. It's a couple different parts, but show us how it also works for fingers.
Okay, really big arms. That's
me.
That's the side.
These guys, right?
Massive man. Okay, for lesser endowed individuals like myself.
You're a little guy.
I'll do like a number 3
okay.
position to do my arm. Okay. You don't want to be bottoming out here because then you have no more give and stretch and ability to vary if you're bottoming out. So that means if you're already like here, I'm bottoming out.
I see, you're not getting the pressure. Yeah.
You're not getting the pressure.
Yep.
So for me, for using my own device here, is like a 3 position. Okay, cool.
So you're moving it. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Got it.
Okay, fingers.
Yeah, I've never occurred
Number
to me.
1 position, fingers.
Yep.
You start to do with whatever attachment. There's 5 different attachments. This one is kind of like the medium firm. There's one that's the killer.
Oh yeah,
it's like a lacrosse ball, but
that'll hurt you,
you can use that for your fingers or any other part of your body, or I'm sorry, your arms.
Yep.
But here, I like this. I like the yellow attachment and the white attachment, which has a slightly different size ball in the middle, which is less intense.
Yep.
But you can actually get in there and start to really
So
work.
this is for finger injuries, especially.
Finger, yeah. Or
what about scar tissue? I mean, we talking scar tissue buildup in the fingers and getting that out of there. That's what's going on with that, right?
Well, scar tissue in the ligaments is, I think, is what you're talking about. And when the collagen starts to form a protective, integrated level of repair.
Yep.
Sometimes, if you don't give, especially at the tendons and which tendinosis is the next step beyond tendinitis, that collagen, whether it be in your fingers or in your tendons in your elbow, starts to end up to be scar tissue, random, jerky, herky kind of fix. Let's fix it, boys.
Yeah.
Instead of the striation, which is an extension of the natural formation of muscle tissue, which is striated and it's linear and it glides and whatnot. Having tendinosis actually has a second type of collagen that is more akin to repairing with willy-nilly scar tissue that patches it up to the best of its ability, but it's not as good a repair because it is a weak repair compared to a wholesome natural range of motion striation.
So when you get a massage, if you're a climber, you get injured, and you go talk to you get the local masseuse, and they're basically, let's say it's in your shoulder or your back, and they're hammering the spot that hurts. That's kind of what's going on with this thing, right? They're digging in and releasing something.
You got it.
That's what's going on here.
Every athlete, and you talk to anybody who's taken their sport or their activity seriously, knows that in order to get back to full function, they got to go through the process of causing what's called useful pain to break down tight muscles. Yeah, there's impact injuries. For example, if you had a fall or an accident where you injured your shoulder or your neck, or the way that your nerves pass from your vertebra in through the rest of the arm downstream, there can be an upstream problem that Armaid just can't fix because it's not a repetitive tightened muscle situation. It's a pinched nerve either through posture, poor posture. I've been sitting at my desk for 20 years, or whatever their alignment has allowed. That's something that Armaid can't do. So there are limitations. But I'm guessing, just an approximation, that 85 to 95% of most injuries are due to tight, overused muscles that have suffered restricted range of motion. So what's the answer? Get back the range of motion.
Interesting. No, good call.
That's it. It's no more complicated than that. And that's why I say you could use any tool. You don't have to use an Armaid, but Armaid is, I'll show you the differences. So this is the yellow.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Which is just a step down from this bad boy.
It's about as big as a fat marble, and then that's like the bubble gum, 50-cent gum thing at the grocery store.
And then, yeah, I like that. And then there's like a lacrosse ball on a stick. It's like the whole idea, by the way, of Armaid is leverage, is maximizing any effort you are delivering. It's like a nutcracker. This is actually,
it is like a nutcracker.
My epiphany moment, Francis, was when I was looking through, should I do this sort of thing out of electrical impulse, something pneumatic, or hydraulic? How can how can I give an advantage to the user to apply this technique that we already demonstrated? And then I was driving to my son's soccer game, and it hit me. I mean, I don't want to overemphasize or under it or whatever. I want to just say that I had a bolt of lightning go through my body because I got it. It was a nutcracker.
Interesting.
Leverage, a second-class lever, allows the person to give.
It's like a torture device. I mean, you can crank that.
A lot of people have said
you can hurt yourself.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're in control.
That's right.
So always stay with what's called useful pain, like it hurts good. Don't ever go, oh, more pain is better for me. No, it's not. It's not. It's a process. It's a process that got you into limited range of motion, and it's a process that's going to get your ass out of that limited range of motion.
Yep.
And respect the process.
Yeah.
Use the tool, use the technique
Yep.
the way it's intended, and you're going to have range of motion for the rest of your life.
Okay, so Terry.
Yeah.
All right. Because again,
Yeah.
one reason I want to do this to bring you on here is because I see most climbers using this wrong, including myself at almost every gym.
just rolling?
Okay, so
Yeah.
obviously it's just really good as a almost like a massage. Like
I don't want to take anything away from any way that somebody wants to use
okay,
this
but
thing.
it feels really good just to get blood flow going.
Exactly, but
that's
two
not the deal.
things.
That's
It
not
is
the deal.
superficial,
Yep.
and it does not give you back this. What you're doing right now, it does not give you back the all-important
This is an unintended second use.
range of motion.
Yep.
The whole idea is to get back range of motion. Why? Because then you get back full function.
Yep.
You get back full strength, natural levels of strength. You're not impeded by restriction.
Yep.
And you recover, and your endurance gets back to when you were, let's just say, younger. Because you're maintaining. Nature doesn't maintain muscles as well when you're older, and you're what, pushing 40?
I'm 40.
I am, okay. Than what it does when you're younger at
That's Delaney off
Delaney.
camera.
Delaney.
She has
off
no
camera.
problem.
She's
Delaney has no
eternal.
problem. Yeah,
Okay.
she's eternal.
Delaney Miller is not eternal. She just said it. I don't know. We'll find out.
But yeah, so give me. There were two last things you wanted to mention about your product. Where it was made.
Oh,
And about
made in USA.
Made in
Number one,
USA,
made
yep.
in USA, made in Maine, USA. Hi, Maine. And we have like a dozen different suppliers of different aspects, everything from the balls to the injection molded parts, et cetera, et cetera. All the different parts are made in America, shipped to Maine, and then we have the Armaid team actually produce the finished product, and we ship wholesale and retail all over the world.
And how's the warranty like?
Oh, okay.
So
This used to be 10 years, which is like
it's pretty good.
anything goes wrong with it, we replace it for free. Oh, I'm sorry, folks. Lifetime. Anything goes wrong, I don't care as long as you register, if you lose it at the crag, somebody steals it, you run over it with your pickup truck, which actually happened. We replace anything for free. Free parts, free shipping, because it's bulletproof. And by the way, I'm thinking of actually starting a whole new competition to show who can abuse their Armaid and still come up using it. My ideal is to have somebody throw it off the nose in Yosemite, and then somebody picks it up at the base, like what, 3,000 feet down, and starts using it immediately. So if anybody wants to emulate that, please, I'll supply the Armaids, because I have a strange feeling it might survive the fall and still be useful.
That's pretty sweet. Right on, Terry. Hey, man, cheers.
Are we good? All
Thanks
right.
for coming on the show.
Hey.
I'm glad our conversation
Thanks
got
for having me.
into a
It's
lot of
been a
rehab and stuff. So.
Awesome pleasure.
Yeah, man, right on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and a link to Armaid will be in the description below. Thanks, sir.
Oh, thank
Cheers.
you. Thanks, Francis.